can't you tell that something has changed? This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. Got a number of things to get into. In this video, we have, of course, some from Hollywood with actor Michael Shannon. We'll get into that in a minute. We have, of course, also what just happened, or what's currently happening, of course, in Texas. We'll get into that as well. And actually, there's a lot of updates with regards to that. We're going to get into actually a lot of other things, particularly AI. You're not going to believe I got this big story that just came out. I've been talking about Peter Thiel, and we got the goods, my friends. We're going to get into that. And actually, what is going to be happening the rest of the year? We have a huge amount of stuff going on in this month, Strange July, and the world is going to be changing in the next 5 months, my friends. Let's just get into this. We'll start here with Hollywood actor Michael Shannon verbally disrespects our president on the red carpet. Let's hear what he has to say.
A positive surprise out of all this? That maybe he will turn good?
No, he's an idiot. He's a total idiot. He's not my president. I will never call him the president.
Of course, he calls our president a total idiot. Obviously, you can maybe see sort of the slant there with his viewpoint. Maybe a little bit of that Hollywood's gotten into his brain, a little bit of worms. Obviously, this guy's not a huge actor, although he's been in numerous movies. I didn't even know who he was until I saw this story. We got The Flash. Apparently, he was in The Flash. And by the way, the main character, the main guy who plays The Flash, there's a very bizarre post of him on X. Let me see if I can go find that really quick. What is that guy's name? Ezra Miller. Okay, let me go find this. You got to see this. I kept putting off showing you guys this, but my goodness. Where is it at? Oh, yeah, here it is. This is the guy that was in The Flash. Like, this is him on the red carpet. Are you serious? Yeah, that's actually him. I mean, look at his mustache. I mean, it goes perfectly with that dress, particularly with the hairy, of course, chest to top it off. And then, of course, the little watermelon clip there. I mean, oh, it's perfect. That's the guy that plays The Flash, okay? And, I mean, I don't know. That might explain a few things. This guy was in that movie. That's the last big movie he was in. And, of course, let's get into what's going on over in Texas. Our president has declared an emergency there for first responders to immediately get resources they need. These families are enduring unimaginable tragedy with many lives lost, many still missing, and the numbers keep going up. I think now, yeah, it's almost 70. It's 68 confirmed already. We're talking deaths. 21 of them are from Camp Mystic, an all-girls faith-based summer camp, a Christian summer camp. And the owner, operator of this camp lost his life saving some of these people. Richard Eastland and his wife purchased Camp Mystic 1974 to be a wonderful place where girls could visit, make friends, learn about Christ. On the still dark morning of July 4th, he rushed to the banks of the Lake Guadalupe to rescue, of course, the girls in his camp, but was swept away by rushing water. His courage and sacrifice is a testament to his love and dedication. So, of course, that man can be honored and remembered for it. You have some of them that survived here in this bus, actually quite a few of them, singing to God.
Fresh like spring, we want to pass it on. Reach for you, my friend, this happiness that I found. Can't depend on it matters.
My goodness, man. Look at all that.
I'll shout it from the mountaintops. Praise God. I want my world to know.
It's just crazy, man. What happened there? Here's a kid talking about how he survived. Let's play this clip.
I'm one of the campers from Camp Lahana, one of the camps that flooded. and I had a first-hand view of the flood, and so the cabins were flooding, and the walls were like they broke down, and all of the campers in those cabins had to go up on the rafters, and they had to wait there until they could swim out. And my brother here, he had to swim out of his cabin.
The flood started getting bigger, and it was going up to, we have bunk beds in our cabins, and it was going up to the top bunk, and we had one choice, and we had to swim out of our cabins.
What time was it? Was
it was like, we woke up at 2.
Yeah, we had to wake up at like 4 a.m. But on the way here, we saw all of like the other camps destroyed, like obliterated.
Man. So this was a different camp. He was actually part of a different camp. Maybe this is a boys' camp here, obviously. Obviously, our president doing things much quicker than the predecessor, particularly with Asheville. You see here also ongoing efforts and rescue operations going on in that area. And on top of that, this is, I mean, at around the same time, just before this actually, like the day before, or about the same time, 15,000 store closures in Louisiana and Texas. This, of course, happened in Texas. So you can see that Texas has been going through a lot lately. And the timing is rather curious. July 4th. Okay, July 4th. Really? We saw this last year and the year before. Bizarre weather, bizarre things happening. Asheville. I mean, there's actually numerous. At this point, there's probably like 6 or 7 of these that just don't, that you can't really explain. Like, what? Right? Like, what happened? And of course, we talked about, you remember Asheville? There was a certain mine there, and it just so happened to have lithium. And it was BlackRock moving in there at the time, right before that. They had purchased that area. And there was some weird story with all that. I got into that. I mean, I don't know if there's anything like that going on here. But the fact is, you can see that they were hit in multiple ways, particularly even with the economy there. With retail stores, lots of them, thousands of locations closing. Joann Fabrics, Party City. You also have Walgreens closing numerous locations. My wife was just, as we came back from church, she was pointing out one of them closed in our area. So there's actually numerous of these type of stores closing all around America currently. Then we got, of course, this story. Now, I'm not into this dude, Ozzy Osbourne. I used to be into metal music, though, back in the old days. My brother was into this guy. I know that. He used to listen to his music. Apparently, this is his last show ever. It just happened in Villa Park in Birmingham. And apparently, like, everyone was there, even Metallica, all these different groups opened for him because it was his last performance ever. You know, and I was wondering if the guy was a Christian or not. I mean, obviously, with some of the stuff in his history, he wasn't before, even if he claimed he was. I mean, it's super obvious, but I don't know about now. Some are saying he is. Whether or not he is one, I don't know, but it is good to see that people are evangelizing to him. You have celebrity evangelist Dylan Novak gifts Ozzy with a Bible, and you have a lot of stories like this. And of course, we've had some of these people, particularly in the metal scene, become Christians, like Brian Head Welch of Korn. You've had Alice Cooper. You've had a number of them, actually, over the years. Obviously, I don't think it really needs to be said, but there's a number of satanic groups out there in that realm, and it's good to see them come to God, right? Anyway, we're going to get into a ton of stuff in this video. I got this awesome clip. This is hilarious. I'm going to show you. We got also AI. We have this huge story about Peter Thiel. I knew there was something there. I could smell it. And this is somehow, I mean, often it seems like this. I'll notice something. I'm like, there's something there. But we don't have enough information yet on it, right? We got it now. All right, and we got a lot of other things to get into as well, including what's going to happen the rest of the summer. But before we get into all that, first, so I got to mention Food Supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 3 months worth for $4.97. Lowest price of the entire time I've ever promoted it. And the fact is, you never know what's next. This summer is going to be wild, I'm telling you. they're predicting a lot of crazy stuff this summer. And these guys are the ones that got everything right before this. Like, for instance, Kim Clement predicting that one of the Kennedys will join our president. Before our president was even president, he predicted both of those things. He predicted he would become president, and then he predicted a Kennedy would join him. Okay, like, that's crazy. And that was a decade before it happened. It was more than a decade. It was like 2014, I think, is when he predicted both of those. 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. He's the one that's talking about this summer being crazy. All right. And already some of the stuff he said is coming true. So there's a lot to going forward. You're going to want to be prepared. Also get this book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great Grandfather Lived Without Electricity. And in my dream about what's coming up, the city I was in, it's like summer, and then all of a sudden it gets dark. I try to go into a Dunkin' Donuts and there's no power. Everyone's in good spirits. I stay outside. It starts raining. I notice that most of the city has no power. Now, I don't know if that's symbolic or what, but might be wise to get a book on how to live without it. Never know how long it would be. I mean, I don't know if it's what it's going to be. We'll see, right? Anyway, also check out my website. Check out my X account. We're actually moving a little bit on X. I actually have 2 accounts. And we're going to do a giveaway soon here. I hit 500K on God Rules. So let's get back to the video. So check this out. This is kind of hilarious. I mean, this is completely politically incorrect.
When he walks in, you think, well, I have set up a deal with an ugly woman. And I think you would all agree that this guy's an ugly woman, right? This is what you really get when the makeup comes off. You decide that you're going to hook up with a woman.
You're in a bar.
She comes in, and she's already uglier than a mud fence. And then, as you start to engage, you find out, hey, this dudette is a dude, and look what he really looks like. He looks like he should have been in a Scarface movie someplace. I don't.
This is so funny, dude. That's how we used to talk in the old days. You know what I mean?
This is what's happening. People think they're getting this.
They think they're getting this. Well, I mean, you're probably in a bar. If you're thinking, you see this, and you're like, oh, she looks pretty good. You know, you get a few drinks, and then you end up with this dude in the morning. Oh my goodness, that's really bad. But you get the joke. You get it, right? So it kind of feels like the expectation and reality with our previous president. I mean, maybe that was part of kind of what it was. Halfway through 2025, and AI has already replaced 94,000 tech workers. So we're seeing our president bring back blue-collar jobs, which will also create white-collar jobs like tech jobs, as these companies come back to America. These car manufacturers, we have Apple bringing a lot of manufacturing back to America. What our president did with these tariffs is very good, okay? But you have all these, so you have 2 plans going forward still. You have our president's plan, which is kind of in line, I would say, with God's plan. Not obviously all the way, not rocket science. But then you got sort of the devil's plan, which I feel is essentially what these people at the top have been trying to do all along. They don't like you and I around very much. They like robots. They like to have billions of dollars and robots doing everything and everyone having to follow everything they, of course, say, right? The utopia of someone like Bill, of course, Gates, for example, probably would like this stuff. And he actually was talking about AI recently. You have Peter Thiel talking about it. I've shown this clip. I don't think I should play it again. I think actually, I don't know if I've shown this on my channel. Have I shown this one on this channel? Let me see if I have or not. Let me check really quick. I don't think so. I can show it. All right, let me just play this. I don't think I've played this before here.
You have been giving talks recently about the concept of the Antichrist, which is a Christian concept, an apocalyptic concept. What does that mean to you?
You know, how do we articulate, some of these existential risks, some of the challenges we have? And they're all framed as sort of runaway dystopian science text. There's a risk.
And I showed a clip, I think, of this guy before in a different part of the interview where he's smiling when he's talking about how when this interviewer says, you know what, a lot of people might think that your company that you created is literally making everything that the Antichrist would want. And then he starts smiling when he says this and tries to kind of brush it off. And I was like, you know what? Something ain't right here. There's something not right. And then I remembered this. You remember I showed you this a week or more ago. Peter Thiel confronted after being at a certain meeting. This one. Build, Erberg. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to say it that way. Yeah, he was there. And of course, someone called him a demon when he came out. I think I showed that clip in a previous video. And then we have this story that just came out. Leaked, of course, documents reveal Peter Thiel's interesting future for us. Oh, it's like that movie with Tom Cruise in it called Minority Report. You remember that movie? Yeah. Apparently this guy is willing to sell you out for $1 billion, my friends. That's who he is. This is the guy who founded PayPal. By the way, I used to sell online back in the old days, and I had a PayPal account, and they were kind of messed. They were not the best company in the world. Let's just put it that way. I think I did almost 80,000 transactions through there, but at any rate. So then we have, of course, this. Who else was part of PayPal at one point in time? Elon. Oh, guess what? Elon's working with this guy, Peter Thiel, with Palantir Technologies. So another question you might ask yourself is, why is Elon so interested in helping out our president for a while there? But before that, he had all these companies that just seemingly could help out the, Antichrist. Kind of like Peter Thiel's companies. That's so weird. Makes you wonder what Elon's really doing. Was he siphoning off support from our president? I'm not saying it. I'm thinking out loud. Elon has made valid points that our president is ignoring partially. But I also wonder what's going on with this Elon dude. He made a new party called the American Party. Is this to siphon off and weaken, of course, our president? That's a good question. Could it make it so that we don't win anymore in the future? Interesting. And of course, I'm wondering if maybe this is just Elon, freaking out like he usually does when something doesn't go his way. Is it just that? I don't know. That's a good question. But he had two valid points. One, we're overspending and we're not balancing any budgets, and we got insane amount of debt. National debt's like 40 trillion now, on path for that. Oh, I think that's a little bit of debt. Our president got through this big, beautiful bill, but unfortunately it was overspending again. Never seems to balance, and no one ever balances anything anymore. That's a problem. It did have good stuff in it. Don't get me wrong, but it had a lot of bad stuff in it. Pork. They threw some stuff in it at the last minute. Right? So Elon is making a legitimate point in that respect. He's also making a legitimate point about speech. These two things are important. But my question is just what else is going on here? Of course, he started a new party. He got people to vote yes towards it. And it's interesting.
Where it's like you're the Libertarian or Green Party that effectively siphons votes off of its larger party that it's effectively a remora onto. It's a vote split. Right. Yeah. And there's historical precedent for this. And there's been no historical precedent that a third party has worked. And I think
I kind of wonder if Elon's just still, he's autistic. He has Asperger's. Is he just taking this way too personally? And is this like some sort of kind of like he's trying to pretend like he wants to do the right thing, but he's also getting even with our president? Is this just some immature thing? Or is there something more to this? It's hard to read this guy. He actually has the same personality type as me, INTP, apparently. Elon does. But he's hard to read because he has this Asperger's, and he just freaks out sometimes. And so it's hard to tell if it's just him being, immature, or is this like some crafted thing? I don't know. We'll have to see as time goes on. OpenAI co-founder wanted to build a doomsday bunker to protect, of course, his scientists from rapture? Like what? I've shown this before, but I have to keep showing this because it's like, it's one of those things that just says too much. It's got it all in the title. I don't even need to read the thing hardly. Look, Protect company scientists from what? The rapture? Like what? Is this kind of like, you know, how it says we're going to hide ourselves in the mountains and hills from the, you know, Most High? Is that what we're talking about here? Like what? Now, again, if it was only one open AI guy saying, you know, stuff like this, you know, you'd be like, okay, maybe the guy's just a little fruity. I don't know. All right. No, actually, there was another one who created a website saying that in 2 years it's going to be like Terminator. Let me go find that. I've shown it before, I think. My goodness. Open AI 2027. Yeah, here it is. Here's the website right here. Look at this. We predict the impact of superhuman AI over the next decade will be enormous, exceeding the Industrial Revolution. And then he has all these predictions as time goes on. Mid-2026, China wakes up. Late 2026, AI takes more jobs. It just keeps going, right? It's January 2027. Agent, you know, number 2 never finishes learning. China takes. So it's just kind of like a fictional thing. It's like a fictional story, but it's kind of like they're saying this could theoretically happen. So like the power gets stronger in these, and then they're saying algorithmic breakthroughs, and then I start basically at the end. It's like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator 2 or something, you know, basically at the end. Let's see. Yeah, it's like literally sounds like the movie storyline. Look at this. It's like, what? So you got the dudes, and these are guys that worked on it. Okay, these are not like some dude like me in his basement, like, oh, look what's gonna happen. No, these are dudes who actually worked on it, saying this. Not me. They're saying it. Even though I used to say it back in the old days. I literally was saying stuff like this in the old days. I was like, yeah, maybe in like 10 years this is going to happen. Yeah, here we go. We're almost there.
Singularity and an overarching technocracy that controls the world, creates its own savior,
oh, yeah.
and through Christianity will proclaim to have achieved eternal life, so that when the real king comes down, he will be the enemy.
Okay, so he's talking about what he thinks they're going to do. They're going to have like this fake savior, AI savior, which of course, remember back, I mean, it was like 5 years ago. We were talking about how these guys that were making ARs like, yeah, it's like a god. I mean, you're like, what is wrong with you, dude? Are you serious? Really? Not really. I think they might be demons. I don't know. Or maybe they're just computer programs. One of the two. I don't know which one. Maybe it's both. Who knows, right? I've seen all the weird videos about, I don't want to get into all that. But my point is that this is sort of the guys at the top's plan. AI comes in, Terminator, you got no job. You know what I mean? Like, obviously not good. But my point is that that's not what God wants. This is what the devil wanted. Again, we went from the age of Horus, or the age of the child, which was quite successful, by the way, because people act like children. They're very individualistic, all thinking about themselves, me, nonstop. To the age of, I think it's Themis, which is supposed to be justice or social justice, which was a failure from what I can tell so far. And of course, that was supposed to bring us in and usher us into maybe something with AI or, you know, whatever, aliens or something. But I'm thinking they're completely and utterly failing, and that the true God is bringing us into his age called the age of Goshen, where we're seeing it turn around now, and July 4th was the birth of it. Now, I'm not saying this is accurate, but this is an interesting take. Someone said the golden age began on July 3rd. The water breaks, which was the flooding. I don't know if that's a good interpretation, but that's how he's looking at it. July 4th, the golden age is born. Our Trump signs that, of course, the bill. And we're going to start seeing miracles and signs and wonders for the next 3.5 years. This is what he's saying. I'm not saying he's accurate. I'm not saying he's correct. He gets some stuff right. He gets some stuff wrong. This guy's an analyst like me. I'm an analyst. This dude's an analyst. Okay. he gets stuff right here and there. He's actually not called things 100% right. Like he'll say, this is probably going to happen at this time, and it literally happens. And then sometimes he gets it wrong. Like, I think this is going to happen then, and it doesn't. So he is pretty smart. Okay, he's a smart analyst. So I give him credit for that. I do think he's right about some crazy stuff happening in July. He's 100% right. He gets that from Kim Clement and some other prophets. And I do think we are entering into something big right now. We are. Whether or not the specifics are correct in what he's saying there, I'm not totally sure. But this is the guy who's sort of the anchor to a lot of these predictions is Kim Clement, who died back in 2016. Decade-old prophecy alerts of Strange July and, of course, Hypnotic November. We're already seeing a number of the things from it coming true, and supposedly many will fall in the fall. But it talks about the summer being very hot, a lot of things happening like floods, which now we've already seen. He talks about a number of other things in this as well. Clement, of course, yeah, I already talked about that. So he had ones from even back in 2004, some from 2009. He talked about the Kennedys joining, of course, a president. He saw him on TV. Our president was like, God told him that was going to be the next one. He's like, oh, okay. We have here, of course, summer reaches spring into fall. I will be the mediator, says summer. I will uncover, I will defend. My sun will shine, but yet beneath the earth, there is rage. Speaking of tornadoes, hurricanes, and warmth of summer, he predicts that this time, one of rendering on the horizon, this coming change is that many will fall in the autumn season. So, is the devil's timeline denied? Are we going to be seeing things go in a good direction? I've been calling this, if you've been following my channel, way back even last year, I was showing all these signs, of course, in the heavens. We had that asteroid that eclipsed Betelgeuse, the star, exactly when Beetlejuice the movie came out. Kind of weird. And I showed how that was the power of Orion or the power of Gilgamesh. And Gilgamesh is the main character who stands against God, against Jesus, in the prophecy of him coming from Bethlehem. I think that's in Micah. I can't remember. 3 or something. And, of course, he was the hero of old. Gilgamesh is Nimrod. And we talked about Revelation 12, of course, sign, which was seen in 2017, also in 2023, 7 years before the end of 2024. And the end of 2024, I believe we entered into this new, of course, age that the devil's timeline has been denied. He had 500 years from King Henry VII until the end of 2024. We had the exact same solar eclipse dates as the Book of Esther, which they moved from a red dragon age to a white dragon age as well. What was that? 480 BC. And we saw it in the Book of Esther, the chapter that was removed. At the end, talks about 2 dragons warring in the heavens for power over the world. This was also talked about by King Arthur and Merlin in 500 AD when he had a dream about 2 dragons, a red and white one, fighting. Saxons versus Wales. Wales was defeated. Wales was the red dragon. Saxons was the white dragon. That led to 1,000 years, 2 dragon ages for the medieval times. And now we've been under the red dragon for 500 years since King Henry VII. Talked about all this stuff before. Now we are entering into a white dragon age, which I believe is partially referred to in this 7 Mountains, of course, prediction from Enlil, and how we're going to now see that all these sectors of society are going to be reversed and replaced. The leadership, of course, being no longer the bad, but will become good, meaning people will be, of course, removed. We're talking the GOV, education, business, media, arts and entertainment, family, and also religion. That's why you see all these ministers falling of recent in all sectors of the church. It's because God's doing it. And of course, according to this prediction from Kim Clement, we're going to be seeing miraculous stuff happening from now until the end of the year. like crazy miraculous. And they're talking about this thing even called the reverse rapture, which I don't know. They have a lot of different names for the same thing. Something really crazy happens, and it scares a lot of people, and it shocks the world. It's going to be the entire world's going to see it. I don't know if this is true, but I'm pretty sure there's something big that's going to happen, and it probably is going to shock a lot of people. I don't know if it's going to be this, what some are saying. Some are saying that people are going to disappear. I don't know. Some are saying that. We'll see what happens. And they're talking like a lot. So we'll see what happens. At any rate, I'm going to get into it in another video about some of the stuff that's been happening. So like I said, the devil has his plans. God has his plans. The devil thinks he's going to keep going. He's going to get denied. He's already being denied. But the devil also has not only plans with, of course, AI, but also things like bringing back, of course, dinosaurs and species that have become extinct. And of course, we have this new movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, that is, what is that, coming out soon here? And of course, they brought back the dire wolf recently. And I'm gonna get into all that in a new video. And also get into this, something else that's really curious. It has to do with, I won't say it now, but it has to do with something very interesting that's related to that. At any rate, that's my video. I'm kind of wondering what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.